can you believe this friend of mine, this coworker, came to me and asked me why wasn't our friendship the same anymore? And I told him, I go, because you made a lie about me. You lied to our boss about that, which went to HR. And then you went to HR again because you said I wasn't treating you like the other team was at the time. I mean, and I told you because you lied to me. I mean, you lied to me. Well, you did. You lied to our boss. And this is the story, what I'm going to tell you the story was, all right? I'm going to try to simplify the story as much as I can.
Do it.
Okay, this person got hurt at work. She hurt her hand, all right? So then I put her, well, of course, the doctor put on light duty, and then I put her on my own light duty, was just to, help me with some paperwork, maybe just wipe some shelves, whatever she felt comfortable. And if she wanted to do more, she could do more. If she wanted to do less, she does less. Well, 3 days go by, and then I get a call from my boss. Hey, come to the office, which is nothing. I always go there, we talk about stuff. So then I walk in, and then it's my boss, the main boss, and then it's the HR person. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's going to happen here? So then, and then the main boss tells me like, hey, this person got injured. I go, yeah, she's on light duty. And she goes, well, she says that you're not fulfilling the light duty part. You're making her do more work, and you're making her do work that is straining her hand. And the look you're giving me is what I gave them, like, no.
Because there was no ill intent behind what you were doing, the extra light duty. You were looking out for her, correct?
Yes, and that's what I did for all my people. Like, I was their supervisor, so that's what I always did. So then I go, no, this is not right. I'm sure you're mistaken in all this. I go, why don't we call the person up here to ask her this?
Right.
Because this is something that's not right. So they call her up, and then she sits down with us, and I said, hey, they're telling me that I don't have you on light duty. I go, when you came in, you were hurt. I told you to just wipe shelves or whatever. I go, whatever you feel comfortable. I go, isn't that what I told you? She goes, yes. I go, so why are they telling me that you told them something different? She goes, well, I did. I'm like, well, what do you mean you did? Like, then the boss says, well, you told us that he's doing more work to you. Is he putting more work on you or not? And she goes, well, no, he's not. And I said, well, then why are you telling them this when I'm not?
What's the reason? Yeah, why?
She goes, well, I want to be on light duty more. So in order to do that, I had to tell them that I'm hurting because I'm hurting more. And they say, why are you hurting more? And I'm saying, well, because I'm doing more work.
But you intentionally gave her less work than the light duty work.
Yes. And I've always done that to all my people. Like,
right.
They do that. So then the boss stops the thing. She says, okay, well, James, go back, have her stay here. I'm like, okay. So I'm going back, and I'm like, baffled, like, what the heck just happened? Like, why did she say this? Or what's going on? So then 15 minutes later, she's back in my team, and I go, well, what are you doing here? I thought like they fired her, or they're going to, like, push lies about her insurance stuff and all that.
Yeah.
And they told me no, just to come here. I'm like, okay. So I go on and talk to my boss later about this. Mm-hmm. And they said they couldn't tell me, but I don't know, like, what they reprimanded her or not, whatever.
Right.
But anyway, so by a couple of days go by, and I don't trust this person.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I don't trust this person to talk, to say, to act, to do anything in front of this person, because this person does not have my true intentions in mind, like where she wants to either like a friendship or whatever, protect or whatever.
And that person should know also, hey, I lied about you. I got caught. So yeah, there might be a strain. It's not going to be the same.
You would think that.
Yes.
So I get called 3 days later to the HR office again. And I'm like, so here I am again, not thinking anything, because I don't really think I do anything wrong at work. Of course, I'm sure I do. But so I walk in, and then again, I see my boss, not the main boss anymore, and then her, and then the HR. And I go, do I need to bring an attorney in here, a lawyer in here? Because I got one.
Yeah.
From other stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. This is not for any of that. I'm like, okay, then why am I here?
Yeah.
And the HR person goes, well, she feels that you don't treat her the same as others. And I'm like, I don't treat her the same, because the other people I have that work under me have friendships with me. I don't have a friendship with her. I go, she lied to you guys about me, so I can't trust her or anything. So the only thing I could do is treat her like an employee.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
I don't have to be her friend.
No.
I don't have to talk to her during my lunch because that's my own
You
time.
just treat her fair.
I don't have to do anything except give her directions, treat her with courtesy, and that is it.
Right.
And she goes, well, we used to go out, we used to talk, we used to go bars, clubbing, and all that. And I'm like, yeah, we did. We did. So then I go, we did all that. I go, she goes, our families would meet up together and eat and whatever. I go, barbecue. I go, yeah, at my house. But you lied.
Yeah.
You lied. You made a lie about me that could have got me fired. And I go, so how do you expect me to trust you? I go, either way, this is not something to be said. I go, I
At
don't
work.
yeah. I go, I don't have to justify my friendship with you anymore. Like, we don't have a friendship.
Right.
You're just an employee here. You're my employee for this, know.
Right.
I supervise you. That is it.
Right.
And I told the HR, is there anything else you need from me? She goes, nope. I'm like, okay. I'm like, for her to even give the audacity to say all this.
Even the personal stuff, like that has no merit in the workplace. Like that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. So then a couple of days later, about 2 weeks later, I think they finally moved her out of my team, which was good.
Yeah.
But I'm like how can you, you betray my trust is what it is, the loyalty and we had against each other. And I was actually helping her out, and just to betray all that, just to lie about it, just to put our friendship in this and then throw it away.
But for her reasoning her point was to get extra light work, which you had already been doing. So she wanted to not do little to no work. Is that what her point was?
I think it was.
Why, if you have a friendship, why not come to you and say, hey, it is hurting a little bit. Can we ease up or something, rather than create this false information about you and get everybody involved when she knows she was wrong? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's a person who's out of touch.
And there really was no additional hurt. There was nothing. She was not hurting. She was not more than what she was already. She just wanted extra time, which I would have given her anyway.
Right.
Because anybody's heard of my team, even pregnancies or something, I always go out of my way to help them out. And I think that because when I got hurt, most people helped me out, and then when my wife got pregnant, they helped her out. So I always give forward.
Of course, you pay it forward.
I would always going to do that, but I don't know why this person did that.
Things happen for a reason, and maybe you didn't need that person in your life. I mean, clearly, because for something that irrational to happen to a rational situation, it doesn't make sense.
So, but at the same time, I was thinking about, because this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, well, shouldn't I just forgot about it and just oh, okay.
Forgiveness is what you mean.
Forgive and then move on. And just, okay, let's go back to where we at.
No, I think you can forgive, because, I'm a person of faith. So this year, I think, is going to be my year of forgiveness, because there's a lot of things where maybe I felt betrayed, but I've learned that forgiveness is part of showing love, and that's God's love to us. And in order for us to heal and move on, we've got to forgive that person who betrayed us, whether they know it or not, but it's more for us than them. However, the people who have betrayed you, you don't forget. You forgive, but you don't have to forget. You can be, like you said, cordial, and maybe you can be friendly with them, but at a distance, just keep them at a distance. And I've learned to do that at work, just certain things that when you first meet someone or a colleague and they tell you how they are, and you hear stories, and these all good stories, but then when you go into practice and you're working with them, you come to find out the contrary. And they're a Christian person, but they'll do petty stuff,
Yes, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
I'm not a perfect person. And yes, sometimes I don't ever wish ill upon anybody, and I don't participate in gossip at work. And so when this person again is saying they're a Christian and they want to help others and they give second chances, blah, 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 but then they're talking about other people and they're saying, I can be petty and then I'm just going to be petty. And they just do, to me, immoral things in their position. Um, that's where I'm like, okay, mental note, I'm going to just keep them this distance. I don't share anything personal that I wouldn't want them to know that could hurt me. I'm just going to keep them at a distance. I'm not going to, talk about them. I'm not going to do anything, but I know they're showing me who they are. So I know how to proceed with caution.
But just a side note,
yeah.
to me, when you talked about people like that, I know what you're talking about. But to me, it is what I think is that in their mind, I think they're doing God's work. I think they're doing, like, in their mind, they're telling themselves they're doing
They're
good.
justifying it.
Yeah, they're justifying it, but they're not.
No.
But it goes back to what you're saying about how, yeah, they might be, they think they're religious, but then, like you say, they do all this petty stuff on
paper,
the side.
they're really good. Yes, they volunteer at church. They do all these things. But to me, listening to God's word and knowing what God wants from us, he wants us to be like him. He wants us to be our best selves. And we have, these guidelines he's given us to follow. And a lot of them are, to love thy neighbor, and loving thy neighbor is not, talking about them behind their back. It's to love another human. It's not, well, let me make their lives a little harder, or I could be petty and I'm just going to make their lives just a little difficult or whatever. Like, that's not in his plan. And to me, yes, we're human and we can, it'd be different if those were once in a while, but it's a practice that I've seen, and enough for me
so
to.
then how do you forgive somebody like that? How do you move forward in like that?
These are things that are not happening to me per se, but I'm witnessing them. And so there's not a lot for me to forgive them that's done to me, but I'm choosing to just still be a team player, be actively, in conversations, and I'm not treating that person any differently.
But
I know,
you're keeping them a little.
Yes, I'm keeping them at arm's distance, and
go.
I don't share a lot of personal things. If I share anything personal, I'm filtering what I'm saying. I don't trust that person. But again, I know this person's human.
So how does it feel? Like, how do the other people are being affected? Like, are they telling you, like, hey, watch out with this person because this person has done it to me?
Well,
or just something you just see?
There's some stories that I've been told to be careful, to watch out. I've always been the one that makes up my own mind about a person. And if you treat me a certain way, I'm going to, treat you a certain way, because I know there's can be stories about people and maybe their characters don't get along well or whatever. I make up my own mind, but a lot of things that were told to me to caution about this person ended up being true. I witnessed myself.
Okay.
But still, I am not going to not be this person's friend, or I'm not going to not talk to this person. I'm going to still engage, and I'm going to be formal or polite, and I'm going to be courteous, and I cannot stoop to a level that they are,
So then, have you ever had something like this happen to you?
Yes, I have had something, not in a workplace, but a family member. So I have my cousin on my mom's side who, my cousin passed away, and my sister and I jumped on a plane and we went to Florida, and we were there for him. We weren't super, super close, but I like to think that over the time that we were there, I think it was like 4 days maybe, we got closer, and, we connected, and, we grew up together a little bit. So it's just a reconnection as adults. And so I left there good, knowing I have another family member over there, thinking, okay, yeah, we're close and whatever. My father passed away, and I expected, I did expect for him to reach out and say, hey, I'm sorry, or hey, your dad passed. Just acknowledge it, because I thought we were there at least that, and I didn't hear anything from him, and I was sad, and I was emotional, and I sent him a message saying, hey, I don't know exactly what I said, but I did say something to the fact that I was hurt that you didn't reach out, you know.
But did this person know your father passed away?
Yes,
Did he know?
yes, I think he knew. Yes, he did know that my dad passed away, and so just that that was enough for me to like, okay, I misunderstood something. I misunderstood a relationship. Maybe you don't feel the same. So I start thinking, because after my dad passed away in 2021, my mom passed away in 2014, and when she passed away, that is when I took inventory of everyone around me, my friends, my family, those who did not. It was one of those life's too short, thing, epiphanies again that everybody has. Well, anyone who didn't reciprocate the love and friendship or love and attention that I gave them, they didn't reciprocate to me and my family. I just stopped talking to them. I cut them out. And so it was really easy, friend wise, to know who those people were, because when I stopped talking to them, they, it took them a long time to realize, hey, where have you been or whatever. But family members, I didn't try so hard. For family is concerned, I decided to hold on to those who I was close to even more, and still keep. We don't have to like all of our family. We don't have to agree with them, but families can always be family. And whenever they need something, we're going to be there. But I don't have to hang out with you all the time. I don't have to agree with what you're doing. But that's my loyalty, and that's the way my mom and dad raised me. But in this situation where my cousin didn't reach out to me after my dad passed away, I just kind of, I didn't try. I didn't like, I just left it alone. So he passed away in 2021. So it's been 3-4 years. So and I say this is my year of forgiveness because I just went on a retreat not too long ago, last weekend, and um, one of the things was the forgiveness. One of the 7 gifts of our that we've been given is the act to forgive. And so I need to find a way to do that. I can't live my life harboring resentment, if and that'd be a hypocrite.
So this is the part about the forgiveness. Okay. So beginning when your father passed, this person denied.
Reach out to me.
Yeah, did not reach out. And did this person ever reach out to you?
No.
Okay. So I guess this person didn't want to be part of your life or anything, even though you went out of your way to be
there when his brother passed. Yeah.
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 Huh. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Like
That's a tough
you
one.
would think it was just a text or a call or something, like, hey, I'm sorry this happened and so forth. But
And even if even whatever I said wasn't correct, or it rubbed him the wrong way, I expect, we're family. Hey, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you sending me this for? Or at least to try again. But there was nothing. So I need to forgive him. Whether or not I want to have a relationship with him, I'm not sure. But I need to forgive in order to move past, because from what I just learned recently, that my lack of not talking to that person has affected other family members, and to me, it kind of took me by surprise, because I thought this was my problem, and not, but it apparently it trickles down. But so not, it's just not for me, it's for my other family members
so then
too.
when something like this happens, like you say, you when they always say when something goes wrong or something, when shit hits the fan, who your friends are going to show up and your family. So you already took account of who, like, it happened. This is the people who showed up.
I showed up. Yep.
And so then this is where I was talking earlier, but like, do you just let it go and just say, I know there's a forgiveness, and there's this psychologist that says let them, and then some would just say let it go. Just let it go and move on, and don't let it bother you, and you move on. But it does bother us.
Yeah.
No matter how much we forgive or let them go or whatever, it's always part of us because we think about this. Like, man, I was really close to this person, or I
Yeah.
thought we had this true
Yeah.
friendship. And for them to do this to us is like, it's kind of hard then for the next relationship,
Yeah.
then for the next person that gets hired, you know do I put my guard up 100%, which you always do. First you got to figure what kind of person this
Yeah.
is, and then once that happens is like, no, I can't. And really in work, you can't really give out too much personal information, because in work, something's always going to come back at us,
Yeah.
and then because the work relationship changes, the dynamic, somebody gets promoted, somebody gets fired, somebody gets in trouble. And, oh, you didn't protect me. I go, well, actually I did. I was protecting you all this time, but you kept doing something else, and then that's where the shift change comes. And then you're stuck with this person, like, wow, but this person knows all this stuff about me, and now what,
That's why, yeah, you have to be careful on who you divulge information and like so and to me, I think it took me it affected me more because after my mom passed, after I weeded out people in my life, I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna let people know I'm a people pleaser, and I if something is done wrong to me, I would never say anything. I would just internally take it and just feel hurt and not let that person know. But that point forward too, I was also letting people know how I feel. If you hurt me, I'm going to tell you.
So then, did it hurt more if it was a friend compared to a family?
It hurt more because it was family. And to me, I thought we had shared those same values, and it, it has proven no. It has proven that we are not the same as far as values. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know why he never responded to me. Never. I have no idea why. I have no idea why.
So I mean, but they always say like, well, you got to step into their shoes, but
Yeah.
see but what was going on with them? Were they going to a hard thing? Was something going on, or did that bring back memories where he couldn't respond? But you would have thought by now, if
Yeah.
anything, he would respond and say, you know what, I was in a tough place right there,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't do it.
Well, because, it's all about honesty. And I thought I have been very forthcoming and I have been pretty upfront since my mom passed away about a lot of things. And, you know, dealing with my mental health, things that plagued my mom and my dad, things that plagued my mom's mom, my grandmother. So I've been very conscious about knowing, um, if something bothers me, I'm going to say it. But then what I think I need to work on is saying it the right way too. But even if I came in hot with him, still family, you wouldn't think.
So then, at what point do you start determining, or what do you do like to those, say, friends, without going to family? So the ones that weren't there for you, how do you talk to them? Do you weed them out? Do you stop talking? Do you stop replying? What do you like? How do you sift into? Well, you know what? You're not a true friend,
Yeah.
so I'm going to treat you a little bit different, or not give you my time.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess.
that's because to me, time is a gift. I mean, we all have things to do. We all make time for things that we want to. If it's worth our while, we're gonna make time for that person or that thing. So yeah, so when I weeded out those people in my life after my mom passed away, I just stopped calling, and I don't treat them any. If I hey, I don't treat them any different. I am just know that there's no commitment behind that person. I know that there is no they don't hold me a value as I did to them at one point. So I know where I stand in their lives. I think that they haven't told me, but their actions has spoken to me that way. So I know where they stand and I know where I stand with them.
So
So
what about another family member that was maybe close, like a aunt, uncle, or a sibling,
um
cousin?
Well, hmm.
Like, what if it was your sister that was that maybe did something that you felt like it was, maybe you shouldn't have said this, or maybe you done this, but you shouldn't have done it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you only got one sibling, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
Well,
hypothetical.
no, I have my uncle who I was very close to. My mom has only one brother and one sister, and he was like he was a very special person in my life, all my life growing up, and I always felt special around him. And I stopped talking to him for I stopped talking for him to him for a few years too because um, it was back when it was around COVID time, and I was in a weird place in my life, and um, just trying to get myself together. And he made a comment that I didn't appreciate. He compared me to someone else that was of not of value, and that really hurt me. And at that time, I don't think I was mentally strong enough to um, be rational about it. So I was just like, in my head, that's what you think of me. If that's what you honestly think of me, then I don't know why we're talking. Like, you're like I cannot talk to you if you think I'm that person. Then you don't know me. Like, I'm going through this transition right now, and and you're referencing this. You're comparing me to someone that
And this is when your father passed.
this was yes, I think after my father passed away. So even more so because like he's just always been a pivotal person in my life, a constant. And so that really hurt.
Now, was it something he said that maybe was hard to, it's hard to hear because it was true, or it was just a comment that he made just to, because of your actions at that time?
I think maybe he thought it was true in his mind, like he called it, like maybe he saw it, but it wasn't the case. And I tried to explain that to him, that it was, I was going, mom had passed already. And God, I want to say dad. Yes, no, it was after dad passed. And me just trying to get on my right. I'm going through menopause too at this time. So it's really fucking up with my,
Is
with,
the room too warm still?
no, I'm good. It's just really messing with my brain and my body. And so dealing with dad and mom and, they're passing and the kids and, you know, to me, I was just trying to get myself right, back on track, trying to figure out, okay, do I need to adjust medicines? Do I need, am I off because of this menopause crap? Like, it was just I felt like I
Just a
was
tons of emotions
tons of emotions
just
going
running through
through.
you.
I don't know what. So I'm trying to figure all that out. And so emotionally and mentally, I'm not the strongest. And then when he gave me that comment, I'm like, then you're not listening to what I've said. You don't know me. How can you make that judgment about me? Like, why would you even make that? Why wouldn't you give me some grace? So at the time when I stopped talking to him, um, I needed to get myself right. So, fast forward a few years to just this past year when, our cousin Ray passed away. Um, we went there to Thea's house, and Thea, of course, is just, I don't know how she does it. She's lost two boys already, and she's lost a third one, and she's just making sure everybody's eating and talking like nothing. And I'm just like,
Yeah, we're all there trying to see, like,
I'm
we got
stunned.
this. Like,
Yeah.
what do you need?
Yeah. I'm
I'll do
just
it
there, and
instead.
I'm trying to, memories of, my other cousin being there, and then my dad always being there, and just kind of like trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? And so she's asking me, did you talked to your Theo Frankie? And I'm like, no. I go, do you want me to call him? And she's like, yes. And your Theo Deborah, call, okay. So I do all that. And so I called my Theo Frankie, and he's the one that, of course, that I was not talking to. And I thought, okay, well, this is bigger than me. It's not for me, it's for my Thea. When it comes to other people in my life, um, I can be stronger for them. So I did. I called, he didn't answer. I left him a voicemail. He ended up calling me back, and we spoke for a little bit. And he, of course, he gave me hell for not talking to him. And I said, well, we'll talk again. I didn't go in detail, but we talked about Thea and everybody. And so I said, we'll talk again soon. He goes, okay, we're going to talk again. I said, yes, we'll talk again soon. And so that was, when did Ray pass? In November? Yeah, November. I haven't talked to him. I haven't called him back because I feel too emotional to talk to him still. I need a,
There's some stuff you got to process because
yeah.
you got to think about it over and over
Yeah, I
and
have to
play the
think about,
conversation in your
yes,
mind.
yes, I have to play it all back in my mind and figure out how,
Because once you start talking, the emotions go. You're
yeah.
like, damn it, that's not what I wanted
Yeah,
to do.
and so
I wanted to
I'm
talk.
an emotional person. Like when it comes to anybody else, I can be a fierce advocate. I can be strong. When my parents were in the hospital, like I was there, like I had no problems with emotion. But when it comes to me, I'm so emotional and I feel so much that when I'm talking about it, I get emotional and it pisses me off, but that's just the way it happens. So I need to have a train of thought. I haven't spoken to him, and again, I've been told that that relationship that I stopped also affected everybody else, my kids and my sister, and that is what is a big motivation for me to make amends with him.
So have you at least texted him and say, hey, thinking of you,
No.
maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Just said, hey, look,
Baby steps.
yeah,
right?
look, hey, thinking of you, conversations coming soon. I
Yeah.
just got to process some stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you're right.
And that way in his mind, he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's
it's
going there.
You're absolutely right, and I am. But the
But
crazy.
it's easier said than done.
But the crazy thing is that my cousins on that side of the family, like, no one's reached out to me. Amber, Nicole, no one has reached out to me. I'm happy that I've seen online that my daughter and will comment on their pictures and stuff, and they'll comment back, which is awesome. I'm happy. Like, again, what I thought were my issues with these people trickled down somehow. And so, not only for me, but for them too, I need to make things right.
Because when we're younger, well, when I was younger, I was taught not to really be emotional. I was taught like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. We just move on. Like we were never taught to feel emotions. We were never taught to, oh well, this person passed away, so yes, this person was this. And like no, all I heard was, I don't give a fuck about that person.
Yeah.
Fuck that person. This
Yeah.
person did this to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I was never taught to do that. Like even what was it? Our aunts. Like I would see my aunt. I wasn't a hugger.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hug nobody. I didn't hug nobody till I met my wife. So I was, what was I? 22, 20, no, 20 when I started hugging my aunts and my mom, my dad. Like what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
So those things I wasn't, taught that. So even when we're younger, what the relationship you have with your nieces and so forth. I know we talk about Amber and Nicole because you all were always close to them. But as you grow up, you start growing up your own life. You build up your own life. You're striving. You're going after it. Time goes by fast. And you're an adult, which they are now. And it could be like maybe they're just living their life that they can't. They don't know how back to respond, or they're back of their mind, but I'm like, man, I got to do this. I got to go to work. I got to get up early, because they're at the time when they're in the prime, living
That's
their
true.
lives.
They all have kids except Nicole, and you're right. And it's not a priority, and that's okay. I'm not saying I have to be a priority, and you're absolutely right. Now that you say that, you're absolutely right. And maybe it's just one of those, oh, well, I'm not going to not talk to her. I'm not going to not do whatever. And that's fine. That's fine too. To me, and again, the way I grew up, mom and dad, Thea Mary, Thea Yolanda, these things have been instilled in me that, and my grandma Nora, you welcome everyone, you love everyone, and no matter what, family's family, and that's just the way it is. And I have to understand also, not everybody was brought up that way.
And in my time, at my age, at my time, I'm like, it's whatever I say doesn't mean I actually do. It's easier said than done. Like, for example, uh, there's a lot of, like, I think 3 years ago, I met a lot of guys from my high school. We got together and they said, let's do it again. So I'm like, sure. I helped arrange the first one. So I arranged another one. Oh, nobody could do it. Then I think of the freeze of 21, whatever it was. So like they couldn't do it. Then it was Fiesta. Then it was summer. Then people were going, and I'm like, you know what? I stopped.
Yeah.
When I'm like I'm not going to put all the effort if there's no effort coming back. I'm not going to force you to be part of my life and all that.
Right.
So then again, I started talking to this one person we would always talk from our high school. And it was weird because in high school, I didn't talk to him much.
Yeah.
But after that, we talked a lot.
Yeah.
So then he goes, let's try it again. I'm like, hey, you sure? Because,
You try.
like they're, I call them homebodies, Netflix people, because all they do want to stay home.
Yeah.
These guys were rockers, stoners, and all this stuff, party people. And then now they're like totally different from high school.
Right.
Like, wow, I can't believe this. So I did it again. And I said, okay, we're going to meet at this bar. I think it was 151 Saloon. So, Saloon is a big place.
Right.
They serve food, and all this stuff. So you can do whatever you want. Live music. You can go outside, inside. So you don't have to stay in one place. Well, I think only 3 people went. And one was like, well, since nobody's going, I'm not going to go. I'm like, you could do whatever you want. I'm going. Whoever shows up, shows up.
Right.
And this one person goes, well, I'm not going to go because this person's here. Let's go. I'm like, that's on you, buddy. I'm not going to rearrange all this stuff because of one person. Yeah. And in my mind, like, that person's not even going to come anyway. Yeah. And sure enough, they didn't come. So from that point, I'm like, I'm done. If anybody wants to have anything part of my life, then you could come to me because I already gone to you so many times.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. And that's where my wife goes, well, did you reach out to high school guys? For what?
Yeah.
For what? I'm not going to force them to be part of my life anymore. No. They had their chance and all that.
You tried and tried, yeah.
And then even some friends in my life too right now, like one always calls me because he works a lot of distance away, like cities around us. So he calls me when he's on the road or he wants to come out and drink or smoke cigars or something. So I know what kind of friend he is, which is fine. I'm like, cool. I know what you are. Another one is like, he likes when I invite him places to go out, because when I need something, plus at the same time, whenever I need something, this guy's here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to keep somebody like that in my life. And if he needs something, I'm there for him.
Right.
But we live a mile away. But we both like to drink. We both like to smoke cigars. But he just doesn't come as much as he wants to, nor does he invite me as much as he wants to also. But I know what kind of friend he is, so I'm like, okay, I got him to that distance, Then there's other guy that I give him a call. He's right over here. He gives me hints. Hey, you doing anything tonight? I'm like, oh, okay, so, but then when you have friends like that, is it hard to keep friends knowing what's been betrayed to you, what's been disloyal to you, what's been trusted to you, what's people reciprocated? So now, is it because we were still meeting new people?
Right.
We're still meeting friends. Like family, unless you got some from the woodwork we don't know about by now, is kind of hard.
Right.
I have a lot of cousins I haven't met on my dad's side, but that's a different story.
Right.
And that's the kind of the same thing, because I reached out to them too. But when meeting new friends, like, do you build walls now because of all this trust, this disloyalty from other friends that maybe it was just one or two compared to like 10 or something?
No. Well, naturally, you want to say yes, but I have learned that um, I can't. I can't work that way because and someone that I dated for a long, long time used to tell me, "You're too nice. You're just gonna get hurt. You get hurt all the time. You always get hurt because you're just so nice or whatever." And I thought about that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna change that about me. I'm not gonna come into a relationship any other way besides giving a little bit of trust, being, myself, being caring, being loving. I'm not going to do anything different because that is who I am. If I get hurt, I get hurt.
Yeah.
And if someone hurt me, that's on them. Yes, I'll be hurt, but I'm not going to change myself because of these other things. I can be smarter, and maybe not have the walls, but maybe have the bumper guards up a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But be smarter. Um, just a perfect example of we don't know how we affect other people when we meet them. On this retreat I went to, of course, I worked very closely with 36 of these other strong women who are now my sisters in Christ, and there's a couple of them that I had went on retreat with a couple of years ago prior that I didn't think I made an impact, or I didn't think whatever. And when they saw me again, they're like, "I missed you, and I've always wanted to, be friends with you, blah blah blah." But and I didn't realize, like, oh, I didn't make it, like, I didn't give people a chance, like I was
Yeah.
just closed off, and that was maybe the time where I was going through that process where I just mentally couldn't, like, do anything at that moment, right? So
Because there
now,
was a reason you went to the first
yes, there was a
retreat.
reason I went to that retreat to help get healed. And so I am now, I am, yes, you would think, okay, these women have a little bit more credit because they're churchgoers. It doesn't matter. Yes, we have a bond already because of what we went through. However, the thing remains the same. Your friendship takes effort, it takes work. I know this. And so that's how I proceed with everything. So if I make the effort and they make the effort, then fine. If they make the effort and they make half effort, okay, cool. It, like you said, you gauge how people, their actions. They tell you how they are by not telling you how they are, by their actions, right?
Yep.
So, and that's where I'm at right now with a few of these sisters that we've been staying in touch, almost daily, and they're good girls, and we just like to laugh, and and that's cool, and I love that because that's what it's about, and so yes, you pick. There's a few women that you end up being closer to than not, and but I love all of them. I truly can say I love all of them, and would be happy to do anything for them. But again, it's these new relationships that are turned into friendships that become part of your daily life. Yes, you have to feel them out. You can proceed with caution, but not change the person that you are.
Yeah, because I had even my latest coworker, which I'm sure I mentioned this person to you. Uh, at first, it seemed like a great person, but then when you really get to know this person, you're like, wow, this is a person. Because when you go to work, well, whereas we hustle, we grind, we do our best to move ahead and all that.
Mm-hmm.
This person works hard to do the least amount of work this person can do. That's the hardest this person worked to do the least.
That
So
takes effort, though.
it does, because you have to let's say, put blinders or ignore a lot of stuff around you going on.
And then that makes you think, like, why? Like, are you mentally cannot handle that pressure, or are you about to break? Like, that's what I would think. Like, why? Is it too much for you? Are you get overwhelmed? Instead of working through it, they just choose
Yeah.
to be that way.
This is a whole other topic there about coworkers. But yeah, so this is like, so, like when I first met this person, I'm like, cool, I could talk to this person. But then when I realize I'm doing more work because this person chooses to do the bare minimum or
Yeah.
below bare minimum.
Yeah.
So my friendship with that person has gone like to nothing,
Strain. Yeah.
like nothing. Like I'm not going to help you out,
Yeah.
to do this, So we talk about get to know the person, but then when you start realizing the person, then like, okay, well, this is not a person I want to share
Yeah.
private stuff or
Yeah. No, for
go
sure.
out and do stuff or go out of my way and do stuff because you're not going to get anything back.
Yeah.
Not that you like, well, you only put an effort to get stuff
No,
back.
you don't
but-
want to trust part of you with that person.
Yeah, like no, because
Yeah.
they won't have good intentions
No.
for you. Because if something happens, well, let me help them because of this. No,
No.
I'll get stuff on my desk because they don't want to take the time to put it 20 steps away. Even though I'm in charge of that, but when that person has something, I'll go put it away or log this out, take this out for them.
Task, yeah.
No, I'll have it on my desk. Oh, this person took this, write it down. I'm like, did you key it out or anything? No. Wow. That's just the way a person is. And I'm like, okay. So those is how, like you said, you kind of weed these people out. Like you said, you got to get to know them. So if we were giving advice to somebody, like say, like my son's 18 and start going to the workforce, it's like, hey, you're going to meet some good people and you're going to meet some people that are not too good. You got to get to know everybody first.
Yeah.
Do not be a private person at first, until you know who you could trust.
Right. And don't change who you are. Be yourself but proceed with caution. I mean,
Perfect word. Proceed with caution.
proceed with caution. You have to, because people will show you at first who they want you to think they are. And those who are really those people will be that way consistently. And you will know that because their actions are consistent, whether it be good or bad. So you'll know, but there's a lot of people that will come up and you'll think they're the nicest people or have the great intentions. And then later you're like, oh,
yeah. And I'm gonna tell the person, my son also was like, I mean, but you do it the way you feel.
yeah.
However you feel.
Right.
I'm just giving you some advice because we all learn our lessons.
Right.
These are the lessons that I learned.
Right.
But you're your own person, which he is. He's totally different from me and my wife and my other daughter. She's a totally different person. But also, I'm going to tell him this because in my mind I got this ready. Like, in order to be a friend or to know what kind of friend you want is what kind of friend do you want to be
Yeah.
to others? Like, what do you expect from a friend? What do you want from them? And then can you be that same type of friend to them?
Yeah, what you want from people, are you going to be the same? Or can you be trusted? Are you going to be loyal? Are you going to be someone that they, that they can count on?
Yep. Like when they pick up the phone, are you going to be there? Are you going to be like, it's too late,
Are you going to be a flake? What
I'm not going to put an effort in.
Yeah, because then you'll have those kind of friends. You'll have So yeah, he's going to learn that, those lessons, like you said, the hard way, but always just be yourself. But again, a little bit of caution. That's it. Just don't, to me, just spill your life out to everybody.
Yeah, because I'm an open book.
I am too.
I'm an open book. I'm like, my wife's, I'll be private. She's like very private. I'm like, I'm not you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an open book.
I overshare sometimes.
Yeah, I do that too because I could talk a lot. I'm by myself pretty much most of the day anyway.
Yeah.
So when I find somebody to talk to or something, because I work in a warehouse with just me and this other guy,
Yeah.
we rarely get anybody
Yeah.
come in contact with us, So that's why I like bars a lot.
Yeah.
Because you get to talk to a lot of people there. Anyway,
Socialize.
so that's my advice to my son, which will be advice to anybody out there,
Yes. Yes.
And it's just, you're going to have disloyalty. You're going to have people lie about you. You're going to have your trust broken. You're going to have, we call it about betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be different between a loved one. When I say a loved one, like a family member to a friend.
Right.
But then sometimes you have better friends than you do family.
And it's all about how you proceed after. Again, we are believers in God, so forgiveness is a huge thing, and you got to figure out how to forgive.
And you don't have to forget.
No, but forgiveness for yourself, not for the other person. forgiveness for yourself, because the person who hurt you, who knows if they even want your forgiveness or even care to have it. Um, but to get right with yourself, you need to be able to forgive and move on. Move
And
forward.
for non-religious, is same thing as
Same
let it
thing.
go.
Yep.
Let them do what they're going to do. Let it go.
Yep.
You're not saying it's okay to railroad you or to drive over you. You're just not giving them the
Satisfaction of
yeah.
keeping that in.
Yep.
You don't need to harbor any of that resentment, because it's only going to eat at you and not them.
Yep. It happened to me. Okay, you did it to me. All right, that's it. And you know where you stand now. Now
Yeah.
I'm moving on, and
Yeah.
you could do whatever you're going to do.
Yep, I agree.
All right, and this podcast is called Unfiltered Circles, so we could get all the topics, can give you some good advice, or just something that we went through that may you be going through that you could help you at the same time. And I'm James,
I'm Sandra.
and hopefully you with us on the next one.